Hola, hello. Welcome back to Color and Canvas. Today I have a guest, a very special guest right here painting with me, my friend Elena from Ukraine. Say hello, Elena.
Hello, hello.
And we are going to be doing a dip today. Elena saw one of the paintings that I did last week and she liked it, and now we need her to create one for her own home. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And let me describe what we're using. You guys have seen me use this board before, our little foam core board. So on this board I have our Glad press and seal, which you have seen me use many times before, because I just like that it can hold on to the surface for when you're doing the dip. So we have a beautiful little 9x12 canvas and our paints. And let me tell you about the paints that we're using. This is a mixture of black. These are many brands of black paint, and they're all mixed with our pouring medium, which is 50% Floetrol, 30% Gluol, 20% water. And our base coat is mixed to a pretty thin consistency. You can see it doesn't really leave much of a trace when it drizzles. That's all we need for the base coat. Our colors are Amsterdam Standard. This is Amsterdam Yellow. This is kind of a peach color blend that we made with our magenta and yellow. This is our Amsterdam Cyan, Amsterdam Magenta. Those are mixed with our pouring medium and a few drops of water to make them a little bit thinner. And this is our fancy paint, our Deco Art Extreme Sheen 24 karat gold. And we've also mixed that with our pouring medium and a little bit of water to make it a little bit thinner. And so I'm going to set these colors aside so that we can begin. And so now I'm going to move this over, and Elena is going to pour the paint down, and you can see we've made little marks on the corner where the paint is going to be the same size as the canvas, so that we can get our pattern down and then dip into it. Whoops! So I'm going to move this over, and Elena is going to put that black paint down within these corners. And so just pour it and spread it out with a popsicle stick into your rectangle.
So
you can start from the middle. You can pour it anywhere you want, as long as it spreads out.
When it's enough? Is it enough?
I would pour almost all of it. You're going to need a lot. So we've actually measured this paint carefully when we were mixing it to make enough for what we need. So you could probably stop there, and then if we need more, we can add more. So a 9x12 canvas is about 108 square inches, which is great. Yep, perfect. Yeah, just like you're frosting a cake. Just spread it out to the four corners. And so 108 square inches of canvas, how much paint do you need to cover that? Well, in some cases it depends on what technique you're using. And, you know, some people will say 1 ounce for every 25 square inches of canvas. Some people say 1 ounce for every 15. I found a pretty safe rule of thumb is 1 ounce for every 20 inches, and it generally is pretty safe for almost any technique that you're doing. So we had about 5.5 to 6 ounces of paint mixed, and that is almost exactly right for what we need to do here. So you're going to need a little bit of math, or you might end up wasting a little bit of paint or not having enough, and we definitely don't want there to not be enough. Fabulous. That looks really good. Doesn't it feel like you're icing a cake?
Yeah, it looks delicious.
It looks delicious. We got this beautiful licorice paint that we're going to dip into.
It's so much fun.
It is. Isn't it fun? Yeah. All right. I think it's fantastic. And then you just, give it an eyeball, just kind of see. There's definitely enough paint to get all the edges. So we can stop right there. And, you can just put that down right there. I'm going to wipe that off because we might want to use it for something else and we don't want to get black on it, but that's fine. And so here's the fun part. Is with that technique that you saw the other day, I'm going to show you guys the painting. And so this is the painting that Elena saw the other day. Very pretty, very simple, but lots of nice colors. I don't know if it shows, there's a little bit of glare in the camera, but this is it. So that painting didn't use a lot of colors, but it also had a straight line of paint, and when you lifted it up, it made that shape. So how you drizzle the paint down does make a difference in what it's going to look like when it comes up. And when you do a dip, you know, gravity and suction have a lot to do with what it's going to look like too. You don't have complete control. But if you did a big curve, the way that it looked in the painting, you would end up with a big V of paint. So it kind of depends on how far you want that to go. You're not going to have complete control anyhow. But so how much of a little shape would you like, Elena?
Maybe we can try curve. As I understood what we saw on that ready art, it's already was like a curve, and it
curved a little bit more, but it was
I love it.
It was a small curve, just kind of like that. So do you want to try that?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little curve. I'm going to pour the first color down so that you can see how I do it. And what we do is just drizzle it off the popsicle stick. That's it. Just like that. And we do the colors over top of each other. So that's,
there I go on the top.
just right over top. I'm going to suggest that you do a little bit of the 24 karat gold, not as much as we did of the magenta, just a tiny bit, because we're going to do the gold twice.
I make with this, right?
Yeah, just like that. Perfect.
Enough?
Just like that. Yeah, maybe a little bit more on the edge, but yeah, excellent. You know, you can't control it exactly coming off the popsicle stick anyhow, right?
More?
I would put a bit more of the blue. We've tried to make all of these paints the exact same consistency, but you know, each different color needs a little bit of different pouring medium too. You know, a lot of the paints have different densities. So these are as close as we could get them. I would put even more than that. Lots of blue. Because then it's gonna play with the yellow and the magenta, and you might get some beautiful purple or violet out of there as well. Okay, excellent. And then some yellow and the peach if you want it. I don't know if it's necessary, but as the artist, you can feel if you want it, and if you do, put it down.
I love the color.
Go for it. And this is why I always encourage you guys to go and paint something beautiful, because it's in your mind, it's your creation. You get to choose the colors, you get to choose how much. If you ask somebody else to paint it for you, you might still like what they give you, but there's no feeling like when you do it yourself. So paint something.
Do you think it's enough?
I think that's good. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more of the yellow over here, just for balance. Okay.
It's so interesting how you can feel through this already how much we need, because for me it's hard to understand right now without experience.
Oh, sure, exactly, exactly. I watched probably 100 YouTube videos of people doing different techniques before I ever bought one tube of paint. I was so nervous to try it. But really the only way to get good at it is to do it. You know, you can't learn how to swim from watching a YouTube video either. You have to try, right? So getting good instructions, you know, learn some of the chemistry, you know, study some of the techniques. But until you get the paint in your hands and the canvas in front of you, it's going to be a little bit different. And we'll put just a tiny bit more of the gold. And I think we have enough. We're ready to roll. So I'm just going to move these out of our way. And the reason why we're not doing it in the other direction is just because the camera's on landscape and it just looks better for the camera. It looks bigger for the camera if it's like this. So we are not going to torch this paint right now, like absolutely not, because A, we don't want to torch the plastic because it'll burn, and B, we'll torch it after the dip. So here you go.
I will stand here,
I'm
right?
going to stand over there, I'll be over here, because I'm going to hold this for you.
So
So put
are
it,
we putting like this?
yep, right in the middle. Put it straight down. Make sure that all the edges have paint. Yep, and perfect. That looks really good.
Should I?
And now just
Kinda-
a little bit of pressure,
Mm-hmm.
ever so slightly. You can feel the paint moving, but you don't want to force the paint out. But you want to make sure that there's no air bubbles. So give it a little bit of,
Touch.
a light touch.
Oops. It's moved a little bit.
I'll hold it a little bit. Yeah, and it does because we have a lot of paint in one spot. So it will move.
So I do it really like tender.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's a good word for it, tender, yeah. And even still, I'm warning you, there might still be an air bubble. It happens sometimes, but then we'll just put it back down and do it again. So no problem. All right, so I'm gonna hold this because normally I would tape, put the plastic wrap on the table, but this is not my table. This is the table in the house that we're renting in Mexico. So we're doing it on a board. So I'm gonna hold this board and Elena is going to lift it just like that.
I really forgot.
All right, here we go.
From here is okay?
Yes, that's absolutely fine. 1, 2, 3, lifting. All right. Oh no, put it back down.
I would like to see what is that.
Do you want to see? It was not good. Air bubbles everywhere.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so we have a problem for some reason. So let's both work on this.
I think I was so scared to touch it.
It happens. Air bubbles happen. That's just, you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
You can feel it. And this is a new canvas that we bought from a new supplier. I think it was shipped from China somewhere to us here in Mexico. And it wasn't as tight as other canvases are, and that would have a lot to do with it too. And I didn't spray it because we just unpacked it. And I didn't feel like waiting because we wanted to paint. So let's see if we do better. And if it's not, we can fix it. So let's hope that that's good. Go ahead. Here we go. No. We had a bit of a flop. So if you'll hold that, what can we do? We can fix it. First off, we're going to fix this. So now we actually have our paint there. And we're going to set this aside. And I'm going to hold this. And I want you to put more colors down exactly where you had them before. Yeah,
so
pour more paint, especially in the middle. Yeah, just pour more. This looks so beautiful on the edge, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Too bad there's nothing going on in the middle, but wow, those edges looked great.
So bright.
Yeah, very bright. And that's the Amsterdam paint. That's why it's so popular for people to use. The pigments on it are beautiful.
Okay. Now gold.
No, yeah, put a little bit of gold. Put a little bit of gold now, and then a little bit more at the end.
This is the hardest coming the color.
But you can be very generous with how much you put on too, and it'll be fine.
Do you think more?
You could put a bit more. Nice. And then a bit of yellow. I would leave out that peach color this time. I don't think it needs it.
Okay.
Plus, I had mixed that peach color together probably 2 months ago. So it's been sitting for a while. Its pouring medium is a little different than what we're using today. So I think maybe we'll just leave it off on this pass. Okay, and then a bit more of the gold. Just one more nice drizzle across. Okay, and since I'm holding it, I'll put it down. Just because I'm holding it already.
I feel like I have on
You're
my head,
okay?
not forehead, no? Really?
You do.
I do.
Yeah, just a little bit on your forehead. It's okay, we'll wash it off
Okay,
later.
okay.
It's not in your hair at least, so that's
Okay.
good. How many of you guys get paint on yourselves? We do it all the time. Okay.
And it's a fun part of it.
It is. Okay. Now, the same as before, just a light touch. And at the very least, we're not going to have any white spots because it was already covered with black paint when we began.
So most important for us to take this colorful part right now.
That's right. But it'll work. Okay, I'm going to hold it. Here we go.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look
Alright.
at that. That is fabulous. Do you like
It's
it?
beautiful.
I love it.
I'm about to, how to say, to cry a little bit.
Don't cry.
It's so,
Oh my
it's
God,
so
it's
nice.
so great. I'm gonna turn it like this so you guys can see it, okay? I'm gonna put it down right here. I don't want to mess up those colors, but wow.
And how it comes like these parts,
Yeah.
very beautiful.
So I was telling Elena off camera before we began about Deco Art 24 karat gold and how it's magic. And when you thin that paint, you're gonna get those cells. And now even more, because we do need to torch it. You can see air bubbles in it, right? So I'm gonna grab the torch. Elena hasn't used a torch before, so we're not gonna practice on her first painting because this is too pretty to
Yeah, we
mess
don't
up.
want to lose it.
And I've burned so many paintings when I was learning that we're not gonna burn this one because this one is absolutely gorgeous. Elena can practice on something ugly that we paint later, but not on this one. This is not for practice. This one is so beautiful. I'm just going to check and see if it shows beautifully on camera. Oh, it does. Yeah, that is absolutely stunning. And I know there's a little bit of glare over here. Those are not white spots. Those are just a little bit of glare on the back paint. But absolutely fantastic. I am delighted with how this one looks. Give it a bit more of our torching here. Wow. Oh, I'm so happy at how this looks.
Yeah, it's,
Like-
it's just amazing. So the golden paint exactly let these small parts appear, right?
Yeah, it just made like a whole string of cells. And that's one of the things that paint does very, very well. Now I have one question for you. Is this part that's a little bit straight here? Is that okay with you, or do you want it to be more soft?
I think we can do something, yeah.
Make
If
it a
we
little
can
bit
fix it.
softer? So this is how I would fix that. I'm going to blow it with a straw. Just a little bit. So I'll stand where you are, just so I have the right angle. So I'm just going to put, let me grab, I'm just going to put a drop of our pink and gold that's mixed together right here. I don't want to get any of the black. I'm gently picking that up, and I'm going to add that right here. So there's a little bit more. And then I'm going to blow that with a straw.
Wow.
Just to soften that edge.
Exactly.
And maybe we'll do a little bit of the blue as well. Ooh, blue and pink. And so just a little bit more.
Looks like a flower.
There we go. Now it doesn't have that, kind of hard edge to it anymore. Is that okay with you? The way that the shape is come and look from the other perspective.
Yes.
It's a little bit better than when it was straight.
Yeah. And I feel like this structure appearing more and more little
Yes.
by little.
It develops over time.
Oh my God.
And sometimes when you guys know when I'm doing the videos, I'll come back 10 minutes later and it looks completely different, and I just let the camera run the whole time because the gold just develops more and more. And the other thing is sometimes the air bubbles come out later as well. There's some that are in the deeper part of the paint, closer to the canvas, and they're rising up. And so sometimes I will torch 10 minutes later again and there's more bubbles. So, yeah, oh, I think that looks amazing.
Yeah.
And you see, for those of you that thought, oh, you know, we didn't do such a good job the first time, there's no way that we could have got this absolutely fabulous thing to come out if we hadn't have had the thing that didn't work in the first time. So that's just how it goes. Don't always be disappointed if it doesn't work out first. Sometimes the thing that comes next is the fabulous thing that it was supposed to be. So there we go. Like, I love it. Do you want to do one more thing?
One more?
We're going to do one more thing because look at all this paint we have, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to grab a box so that we can move this painting out of the way, and we're going to do one more thing. Okay, we're back. We've cleaned everything up,
Yes.
and we are going to take these absolutely adorable little 3x3-inch canvases and dip them into the leftovers.
Ah, so it could be like a composition of
It
them
could,
also.
absolutely. So why
one
don't
by
I'll do one in the middle, and then you can do the two sides. Exactly. No, you do it. Because you can compose how much black you want in it. You know, you might go half of it with black and half of it with color. It's entirely up to you how you would like to see them.
So,
Yeah.
Actually, it's a good idea. That could
Now
be
I've
very
given you
colorful.
ideas, yeah.
Okay, let's not think too much.
Now, luckily, these little ones are easier. You don't get too much, you know, air bubbles.
So I can go higher, right?
Yeah, yeah, however you like.
Maybe even.
And if the black's not perfect, we can always touch that up. We don't have to dip it again because, you know, it's a very small surface. Excellent. Oh, fantastic.
So we need again make this.
Yeah. The smaller surfaces tend to do better. All right.
Okay. You can then.
You can kind of, you know, for these, I would just pick them straight up. I wouldn't, you know, the other one you lifted it, but it was big, right?
Then it will not make that shape also.
It
right?
won't, and it won't anyhow because they're so little.
Okay.
So
Let's do maybe one.
1, 2, 3. Ooh. Oh, you got a little bit of.
Missing.
Yeah, no problem. That's easy. You can fix it just with that. There you go. All done. I'm just going to put this right here. Put that one right there.
And last one.
Ah, oh, very pretty. Those look pretty good. I'm going to hold them because we don't have anywhere to hold them in the middle if you hold that one too. But look how adorable those are. And those are going to change too. Those colors are going to change, and that's going to be...
I think it was like, it can be like a composition. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and you could get to decide, you know,
Play
which
with it.
direction you want them. Yeah, it'll be like a puzzle how these will be displayed, but they're going to look really, really beautiful no matter what.
That's
All right. Anyways, we're going to put these down right now. And thank you for watching, as always. And thank you, Elena, for painting with me today. I had so much fun.
Thank you so much, Falia.
And please, you guys, go paint something beautiful. Have some fun. Make some art. And have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.